Of all the new inspired by Gibson custom guitars that Epiphone has released in 2024, I thought I'd like this 355 the least, but somehow I've ended up loving it the most and having a lot of fun with it. This 355 follows your standard Gibson 335 blueprint. Same scale length, fretboard radius, maple poplar blend of top, back, and sides, the typical electronics layout, the usual stuff. What's unusual is first, there's a long neck tenon, which in my experience leads to a guitar with more sustain and one that's more tonally balanced because of it. The most unusual thing though are the two custom buckers. They're Gibson's crown jewel pickups, as we all know. Part of the magic of those comes from the lesser utilized Alnico 3 magnets. All the press material highlights that they do the vintage sound, which is fair, right? That's Gibson's bread and butter, not young people. But I love them because they're so much more than that. They strike a balance between clarity and warmth that no other pickup I've used does. Because of that, they're very versatile, and that becomes evident even starting from the simplest of cleans. With the custom buckers being such delicate pickups, they do the pristine clean thing better than any other humbucker has in my experience. I love that they make the guitar a blank slate like that. They're like single coils, so they shine with delicate cleans that stand out, but what really makes them special for me is the way that they can be built on very heavily and go in any musical direction a player wants without being brittle in a harsh way, whether it's through ambient playing or modern high gain tones. And if it can do both extremes, it of course excels at the in-between, the crunchy sounds. circle back to my Les Paul custom video. With the coverage by Music Radar and Guitar World that I am so grateful for, by the way, people have reached out in agreement and to debate it, and I've had the chance to dive into some discussions. One recurring topic is that Epiphone shouldn't be pigeonholed as being an affordable Gibson. Epiphone has its own legacy that's just as iconic as Gibson and Fender, albeit under the surface. There's plenty of iconic musicians who've had Epiphones that are now iconic in their own right, because from its beginnings, Epiphone offers something that no other company did. That still holds through to today, and this 355 is the most perfect example of that I've ever come across. It feels like a guitar that's waiting to be iconic because it's firing on all cylinders. The design, the build, the quality control, everything here is flawless, and that makes for a very inspiring guitar. The feel of this type of finish that Epiphone is using on these new IGC guitars is very smooth without the chalky thing that satin poly guitars have had in my experience. And so far, it's been consistent amongst the handful of Epiphones that I've worked with. But the new bridge on here is a real hidden gem when it comes to setup and playability. I wish the Les Paul Custom had it. It helps make the playing experience incredible for me, especially considering the immaculate fretwork and a hefty but compact neck shape that fits a relaxed open fretting hand perfectly. And of course, I've gone over how versatile and great I think it is because of the electronics, having the custom buckers, CTS pods, and an actual Switchcraft toggle switch. It means you have something that's as stable as it is versatile. We all got into this because we want to play. In my experience, playing this 355 and the entire Inspired by Gibson Custom Shop range is as good as it could possibly get. I'd put this 355 right next to a Custom Shop Gibson or an Ernie Ball Music Band or USA Strat. It's really something special. I think that this is going to be a guitar or a run, I guess, that 3 or 10 years from now people will seek out because it's looked back on so fondly. Like the mythical Korean Epiphones or Japanese Squires or good Norland Wood, whatever era Les Pauls. It is an incredible and inspiring instrument, and I want to thank all of my awesome friends at Sounds for making it possible for me to get my hands on this. If you're in the market for any gear at all, I'm sure you're already using Sounds because they're great and they've been around since the early internet days, but please consider using my affiliate link. It makes this life in music possible for me, and I'm really grateful to everyone who uses it. I've said before in videos that Epiphone's always going to get a hard time from some people. Some people will say it's too expensive, some people will say it's too cheap, and then there's this overlap of people who say Epiphone is too cheap to be so expensive. If this headstock said anything else, there's no doubt this would be considered an instant classic and one of the most versatile, well-crafted guitars on the market by anyone. So if you're considering this, I think you'll be really happy with it. Thanks for watching.